Hey guys, I just made a Interactive Foliage System plugin that allows you to create interactive foliages inside your game. It's customized, it will deactivate any foliages that is far enough from the player, and so many features. I'm going to show you how we can make this. So the first step is to get the plugin. Visit this repository, Physical Interactive Foliage System. Link will be in the description. Hit code and download zip. Then you will have something like this in your download folder. Copy this folder, which you have directly the .u plugin inside. Copy this folder and get into your project's plugins. If you don't have it, just make one and paste it here. This is the scene I just made up, nothing fancy, just some foliages painted with foliage painting tool. You can just see all I did, well, changing the preset, the collision preset to overlap all dynamics or overlap all. It should be overlapping in order to work. So here is a static mesh. This is a static mesh painted here with the foliage painting tool, but we have an equivalent of this, which is a skeletal version of it. Now this one is the skeletal version of this one, so we have two meshes per any foliage. One static that you paint on the ground, on the landscape or anywhere, and one skeletal version. So this one is a skeletal version. Let me show you what we did in skeletal version. It's simply the same, but this one has bones, which means it can rotate with bones. And now what we did, we added physical bodies. Let me show you the physical bodies. And we added constraints for this. So the constraint, we locked the linear movements and we limited the angular movements, and we added these values. You can just tweak these values until it's something you like, but you can just set simulate and test this. If it's something you like it, then we can go. But basically you can do this by holding control and right mouse, drag it, and you see if the physics is good. Now I pretty like the physics. We can start now. So let's go into my demo folder. Let's create a blueprint. This blueprint will be of type physical interactive foliage actor. This is from the plugin, it's not from Unreal Engine. Double click on that and give it a name. In my case, I will say Planet B. And after this is opened, you can just select the mesh in the blueprint, of course, and select your planet. In my case, it's Planet B. And if you saw anything wrong with the collision, like if it was like this or anything, you can just adjust it, but make sure you don't change the position of this foliage. It must be in 0, 0, 0 locally. And you can just save this. And what we can do, just for testing purposes, I'm going to drag this manually into the scene. And now if we play, if we go around, it will not work because the character doesn't know about this foliage, doesn't know this is an interactive foliage. We have to tell him. How we do that? We add something called foliage interaction component into our character. This is my mannequin. I just added this component, which is called foliage interaction, and also make sure that your character is blocking physical body. I mean, set this to custom and make sure it is blocking physical body, because the foliage is physical body. And now this foliage knows who to interact with, and now it's interactive, and that's good. But painting this foliage all around the scene is not an ideal way of doing this, because it will be more performance heavy. Instead, what we do is checking the player's position. If it's near these static meshes, then we'll replace this static mesh with the interactive blueprints. And we don't have to do this manually, since the plugin does that for us. All we have to do, first let me delete this, get into the player or your mannequin or anything, select the foliage interaction. In the search, you can just type in interaction. You have two sections. The first one is the setting. Don't touch that for now. And the second one is the interactive foliage actors. Plus sign to add one more element and select your blueprint class. What I mean a blueprint class, I mean the blueprint class we just made of type physical interactive foliage actor, which we added this skeletal mesh of the plant. Basically, you select it here. I called it plant B, and then select the equivalent static mesh. This is the static mesh. Place it in the world. Select this equivalent static mesh for this skeletal mesh. Basically, for this, I made this blueprint. Now we have to just select them. I selected the class, and now I need to select the static mesh. If I do so, now I'm basically telling this player to interact or replace any static mesh with this static mesh with this blueprint. And let's see if this works. Yes. And if we show collision, we know if we get close to these things, they will be replaced with a blueprint, and they will be interactive, and after sometimes they will be just deactivated, so it will be good for performance. As you can see, they are deactivated again. But now these things are not yet interactive because we have to tell them to do so. All we have to do, we can go into the planet we just created, we can copy this, and let's call this one planet A. Well, I have another planet called planet A. I'm gonna select the skeletal mesh here. Just keep in mind, this one is also has physical bodies and physical constraints. So now this so now we made a blueprint for this one too. All we have to tell the mannequin to do so. So we add one more element and we say for planet B, use planet B static mesh. So it's planet A. Let me select planet A. Planet A. So in other words, we say for anything like planet A you see here, replace it with this blueprint. Replace it with this blueprint. So let's see if this one works. So now they are interactive too. But sometimes you see, if we speed up the character, let's speed up the character. Sometimes you see they are not interacting accordingly. Sometimes they are not all interactive. Sometimes you see the character passes through one of them. And the reason is because it is meant to do that in a relatively slower way. So here we have interactive foliage inside the foliage interaction component. We have a section called interactive foliage settings. This is the auto activating the foliage. If you lower this time, you will see more accurate result. You see this time, but it's somehow performance heavy. Make sure you use this accordingly. Adjust this based on the player's speed or anything. And also we can make this value bigger. It also makes it more and more accurate. If you don't understand what these things are, I'm going to just show you in a minute. We can deactivate the auto activation. So it's by it's now not going to activate anything right now because we turned it off. We can do this manually. Here is my right mouse button event. I am just going to activate this manually. It's called foliage, activate foliage in range. And I'm going to change the radius to 130 and I'm going to set debug. Now, whenever I click right mouse button, foliage around me will be activated. And that's exactly how this system works in background. But you can just do so in, like, if you want to make any kind of customization or activating foliage manually, you can do so. It's not working. If I right click, it will be activated. So just for your, if you want to debug it or something, you can use this. And we have some other settings for the planets. There is something called Interactive Foliage settings, a section. The first one is the custom bond name, custom root bond name. This is basically tells where to activate this foliage from. Sometimes you may just want to activate this bond. Let's say only you want to activate this bond, then you tell this bond's name. Basically only this one will be activated, and so on. So this is what you can use this custom root bond name for. And deactivate blend out time, which means how long it takes for this foliage to blend back to its static shape, and deactivate physics. And replacement time means how time it takes for this blueprint to be replaced with its original static mesh. So the plugin is available in GitHub. You can download this and see you in the next video.